Chairman Dan's big bad bonking of the economy. Are Afterpay's founders exiting? Should you be following suit? And why are US share players ignoring coronavirus infection spikes? I'm Peter Switzer.
I'm Paul Rickard, and we're mad about money.
All right, Paul, I don't want to be political here, but really, Chairman Dan, Premier Andrews of Victoria, he really has, in a sense, bonked the economy by leaving the security
Well, he
guards
has, Peter. We don't want to find scapegoats. I think Chairman Dan is just the right wing is having a bit of a chance to have a go at Chairman Dan because he's been untouchable.
Yeah.
He's been the untouchable
He had
premier.
a good run until he made a big mistake.
Yeah, he hadn't made a big mistake. He also, when the Feds first offered 1,000 troops, said, we don't need them. We'll just take 350
Big
or
mistake
something.
again.
But look, he's probably coming back. I mean, I've been a critic of Chairman Dan, but I think it's a little hard. This could have happened anywhere. It just happens to have happened in Victoria, and we're now paying a price.
Yeah, the problem is, I think he did it for political purposes. I think ScoMo came back from his Hawaiian holiday. His reputation stunk of the bushfires, and then he effectively, and other premiers have covered themselves in glory because they've handled coronavirus really well. And Chairman Dan was actually probably one of the toughest, in the early stages.
Yeah.
Wasn't going to give in, unlock the economy early, but he made a big mistake, and now he wants to blame other Victorians rather than saying, like Peter Beattie at least used to say, I've stuffed up, we'll fix it up.
Okay, well, Dan should cop it. I mean, I haven't been a fan of these border closures, and I think the West Australian Premier is barking up the wrong tree, right? I mean, but, it's now time to lock down Victoria. Let's get the virus under control. Chairman Dan, time to own up. But I do think the right wing is just...
soft on Chairman
Well, I
Dan.
think the right wing is just, the usual collegiate of right-wing journalists are just having a bit of fun at Chairman Dan's expense. I'm going to defend the guy, okay?
He's going soft in his old age. All right, now, Afterpay's owners are now exiting the company. Not total, but some part.
Yeah, I mean, this is a bit of a beat-up. I mean, whenever, a tech billionaire sells out, it's always the founders are getting out. Now, I have a bit of sympathy here for these guys. I'm not a tech billionaire, but I know how they feel to some extent. Yeah. Afterpay was down at $8.90 on the 23rd of March. It's now up at $68.
Yeah.
If you've watched your fortune come this far down and go all the way up, wouldn't you want to just cash out just a little? Right? I mean, they're only selling a bit over 1% each. They're reducing their holdings by about 10%. They'll still be the largest founders. Interesting on Afterpay, despite being the world's most expensive tech company, the news out this morning is that the institutional placement has gone really well, up to $66, just as only a 2.9% discount to where it was trading. Yeah. And apparently, Tencent has asked for some more. That's what the AFR is reporting, more than its pro rata allocation. So Afterpay shares, when they come back from a trading hold, are going to go up, folks, not down, despite what I might think. So look, this is a bit of a beat up. The press like to pick on founders here, but look, what would you do? I mean, Peter, if you had a couple of $1.5 billion invested in the one company, which is what these guys are worth each, roughly, wouldn't you want to just take a little bit off the table?
I'd like to take a large amount of, but I'm biased. I taught Anthony Eisen, one of the founders, many years ago. And look, Afterpay's been a success story. I hope it continues to be a success story for shareholders.
I mean, it's way overvalued, right?
I think so too.
But this is what happens when stocks get into that sort of level. It's also one of the problems of passive investing because a lot of the last push is really due to index funds and other underweight investors who have to buy, which is sort of what we saw with the CSL effect earlier in the year. So, but look, when you get the confidence of Tencent, you get the growth they're getting, they've got a reason to be the world's most expensive company, despite what I think. I think long term they're very vulnerable, but I think the market's going to say this is an outstanding capital raising.
And journalists can be nasty.
Journalists can be nasty. Look, remember, journalists, these guys who write this, starting with S in the paper, they aren't worth $1.5 billion, right?
All right, let's not go any further. Why are US share players ignoring coronavirus, Paul?
Peter, I don't know. I'm trying to be bearish in this market, a bit like you.
Yeah,
it's hard work being a bear because it's hard work thinking of the US every day and you see it come up. But last night we got a little bit of a pullback. But look, I think they're going to. What might temper the US market is we are about to come into earnings season, so we're going to get this in the later part of the month. So let's just see how badly the earnings are. They're all looking forward, but I mean, I think that one of the Fed governors said last night that maybe the economy is going to do it a bit tougher. Lockdowns can't be good for the economy, right? I think they are to their. I know that there's so much money out there; it's going to find a home. So many fund managers have been bearish, but I think we'll see a bit of a pullback.
I think the irrepressible Americans, particularly on Wall Street, are thinking to themselves, a vaccine is coming.
Yeah.
And that if a vaccine comes, the market will rocket up. And so they're not getting too negative. But I'm just going to be surprised if this can be positivity can be sustained until either a really effective treatment comes or a vaccine.
Well, I think Trump said last night that one company got $1.5 billion US.
Yeah.
1.5
billion
to work on a vaccine. So a lot of money out there. But look, I mean, you got to think the Americans are also going to start to think about the electoral cycle. And although, changes of Congress aren't necessarily changes of president a bad thing for the markets, they're going to get worried about
Biden's in front.
About Sleepy Joe and, if he comes to pass, wakes up at some stage, right?
To awake Donald. I'm Peter Switzer.
I'm Paul Rickard.
And we're mad about money.